the money really in real estate is in the development. But it allows us, retail investors, to have exposure to actually earn from properties that in and of ourselves, we won't actually be able to have exposure on. Because if you notice it, majority of the retail investors are primarily buying condos, apartments, townhouses, or houses, and then having it rented. Hey guys, so we have a new REIT listing. As you all know, I've been a very, very big fan of REITs, not just in the Philippines, but also REITs that are available that could give you passive income and cash flow for a very, very long period of time. After the success of a REIT last year, not just from a capital appreciation perspective, but from an acquisition perspective and from the cash flow that they're giving out, it's very, very exciting to see the next set of companies that will be listing. And for this video, we're going to talk about Filinvest Reit. And this is something that I think is very, very close to my heart because majority of the buildings that they would be including as part of the REIT is in the Alabang area. And literally before I got married, I spent most of my life in the Muntinlupa and Alabang area. And I saw how Filinvest got developed from a very, very open space in the 90s to where it is today. And it's nice to be part of something. You're not just merely seeing progress happen, but you get to be invested in it. For those who are new to this and don't know what REITs are, I'll be posting videos right here and we have links in the description below to give you a foundation on what REITs are. But basically, this is a proxy for stock market investors like you and me that want to have exposure in the real estate market and earn via dividends. We're going to do a deep dive right now on the latest REIT offering that's going on, brought about by Filinvest. So by the way, for those who don't know much about Filinvest, they're one of the largest property developers in the country, and one of the biggest chunk of land that they own is in the Alabang area. It's called Filinvest Global City. One of the earliest malls I grew up with, which is Festival Mall, and some of the shops and restaurants in either Northgate, Cyberzone, and Westgate, Alabang. So I really grew up knowing a lot about the place. What will be included in this REIT are 17 buildings, majority of which will be Northgate, Cyberzone in Alabang, which if during the listing, the shares would be sold at 8.30 pesos per share, which is the maximum price right now, it values the REIT to around 40.6 billion pesos. If you look at it from that perspective, it's actually higher than the valuations right now of Filinvest. And just a side note also, once they get to sell this unlocks a lot of cash and value for the parent company, for Filinvest altogether. So if they get to sell the REIT at 8.3 pesos per share, and similar to what's mandated by law that they need to sell at least 33%, the money that they will be able to raise is around 13.6 billion pesos. And the proceeds of whatever they get from this listing would be used to fund mall, warehouse, office, and also land acquisition, which, as you all know, as part of the REIT law, whatever gets raised should remain in the Philippines and should also be reinvested. I guess that's what's nice about REITs. It allows the company to expand as a whole, use that fresh flow of funds in order for them to be able to develop further. And as you all know, the money really in real estate is in the development. But it allows us, retail investors, to have exposure to actually earn from properties that in and of ourselves, we won't actually be able to have exposure on. Because if you notice it, majority of the retail investors are primarily buying condos, apartments, townhouses, or houses, and then having it rented. This gives us exposure to offices. This gives us exposure also to commercial and retail establishments. And that's why I like it. And because it's very, 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 very liquid. You get to sell it when you want, but not just that, it's passive income for life. One of the things that would give us conviction in investing in the REIT is also knowing what's inside. You have to know what are the buildings that are being included in the REIT, because you have to know also the quality of the tenants, how locked in are those tenants, and how occupied they are, so that you somehow have predictability of income. As you all know, for REITs, 90% of the revenue would be given out to us in form of dividends. It would be nice to know how secure are the tenants, how long are the tenants there. You also would want to know how long are the leases also. So at least if there would be any shakiness in the economy, because the rentals are locked already, you still have predictability of income. If there's one thing that I like about this, and which is very, very similar to one of the reasons why I love a REIT so much, is that majority of the buildings that are included in this REIT are exposed to to BPO. What I love about the BPO industry is that it's very, very resilient. As what you've seen from last year, in the height of the pandemic, in the height of the lockdowns, you have a lot of those BPO companies running very, very well. When the whole economy was shutting down, slowing down, it was the BPO industry once again pulling our country and pushing us all together. So this is something that's very, very stable, in my opinion. I really believe that the BPO industry in the Philippines is here to stay, that we will be a very, very, very large player. So in my opinion, this is something that's very, very good as long as the tenants are locked and the quality of it is amazing. This gives me at least stability and would allow me that should there be any drops in its price, it would allow me to stack. Try to remember what happened to A-REIT last year. After the listing, it went down. That would have been an amazing opportunity for you also to continually stack and add some more. And for those who were able to add, your capital appreciation right now is very, very good. But not just that, your dividend yields would have been massively higher as well. Check this out. These are the top 20 tenants that are renting out their buildings. The reason why I'm showing this is that these are very, very large BPO companies. Capital One, which has a GLA of 38,337 square meters and they comprise 14.2%. Then you have Genpact, which is also massive, 21,239 square meters of gross leasable area. They are 7.9%. Then you have Accenture, one of the largest IT BPO companies in the world, one of the most stable, one of the most reliable. Accenture comprises around 18,643 square meters of GLA. They're around 6.9%. So as you go through the list, you have a lot of BPO companies that are stable, but not just BPO companies that give them stability. You have the biggest and most stable companies in the world. So in terms of location, I said it at the start of the video that out of the 17 buildings that will be included in this REIT, 16 of them is part of the 8.7 hectare Northgate Cyber Zone, which is one of the first PESA accredited IT parks in the country. And I saw that area blossom and do better from literally not much more than 15 years ago to where it is right now. It's really amazing, and the way they've developed it. We're seeing Alabang as a bright spot south of BGC, south of Ortigas, and south of the Makati area. It's a very, very nice place to walk and also stroll around. And as what I've mentioned, 16 buildings in Northgate Cyber Zone. One building is located in the Cebu Cyber Zone in Lahug. So similar approach also to what A-REIT did. They had some buildings in Metro Manila, and then the fourth building that they listed was actually in Cebu. FLI plans to sell around 1.63 billion shares, and they have around 163 million shares that are allotted as an over-allotment option should there be an oversubscription or should there be more people wanting to buy shares of Filinvest Reit. Now, what makes this very, very interesting, as what I've mentioned at the start, is we have to look at the percentage of how occupied they are. You have a 90.3 occupancy rate, but what's interesting about that is this. They have rental escalations of 4 to 10% per annum with an average rental escalation of 5%. This is very interesting because in layman's terms, that actually means that they could raise rental rates to around 4 to 10% with an average rate of 5%. To all of us, that's good because as they continue to raise rental rates, that means the revenue would also increase. And as the revenue would increase, 90% of the revenue goes to us in form of dividends. So the higher the rental rates are over the next few years, the better it would also be for us as investors. A bulk of the offices that are leasing in Filinvest Reit would end their leases by 2023, 2024, 2025. You have 18.3% ending at 2023. You have 20.8 ending at 2024, then you have 39.3% ending at 2025. You have close to around 80% of the rentals that this year, next year will still be there. It somehow can help you predict already what their rental income would be for 2022, given there's a large percentage of tenants that will be there beyond 2023. In terms of dividends, and I'm sure you're like me that we like REITs primarily for the dividends, and whatever capital appreciation we get will always be a bonus for us. But I was invited to attend a conference with a lot of the economic planners in the Philippines, but one of the guests was Josephine Gotianum Yap, which is one of the executives for Filinvest. And one of the questions that was asked was, what would be the dividend yield for Filinvest? And she said something very, very interesting. Number one, she said that their dividend yield would be something that would be very, very competitive compared to the other listings that we had. And then she furthered it by saying that it would be around the 5% mark. For me, as long as the dividend that I would get also is above 5%, I'm already happy with it. With the very reason also that should there be capital appreciation, so should they raise their rates also for the next few years, the dividends would also go up. So the lowest that I could ever have also would be around 5%. And of course, if the price dips lower, that would be an opportunity also for me to stack more. So I have a chance also to get a higher dividend yield. So offer period for this will be July 26 to July 30. So from this time to the next few weeks up until the listing, we're gonna make more content about this. Please do let me know if you have questions about Filinvest Reit. Put them in the comment section below and I'll try to make videos on top of that to further educate you. But so far, I know the area very, very well. I grew up in the area. I like their exposure to the BPO industry. I like that 90% of their tenants are booked up until the next few years. I like the predictability of income. I like the dividends. It's something initially, from my perspective as a dividend investor that likes to position in REITs, it's something that appeals to me already. But I know we're all different. So please don't just buy, sell, hold, or avoid this REIT just because I talk about it here. It's your money. It's your responsibility. Please take the time to learn what it is. This is not financial advice. Please do a deep dive. Don't just buy just because you hear it from someone off of YouTube. You have to take the time to be able to learn about it. But I want to answer your questions, and the more questions you put, I'm going to include that in the next video about this. So it looks very, very promising from a dividend standpoint. It looks very, very promising from a macro standpoint that they are pretty much exposed into the BPO sector. My name, by the way, is Marvin Germo. I'm a stock market trader and investor. And if you want to know more about me, links are in the description below for all of the books that I've written, the live seminar courses that we're having over the next few weeks. They're all in the description below. But if you want more videos of this, like, share, subscribe, and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. And if you want to invest in the cryptocurrency market, $10 US, links are in the description below. You can try Binance. If you want to invest in the US market for $1 only, you get to try it also via GoTrade. And if you want to invest also in the Forex market, you can do it also via XM. What's interesting about XM right now is that when you sign up, you get $30 US for free. And then for the month of June, for whatever amount you deposit, up to a maximum of $500, they're gonna match it, meaning you put in $200 US, they're gonna give you $200 US to match the amount that you've placed. So that somehow already will speed up your learning curve, and in the same way, it gives you the ability to get freebies as you start your road towards investing. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.